Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. I am Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, and tonight we have a good one here. It is race number 2 of the American Sim Racing Club Street Stock Series here at the Five Flag Speedway. Tonight we have 30 drivers ready to do battle. We have packed the server. It is entirely full. You can see the grandstands here in the background. Absolutely filled on up with some virtual viewers. Have some good amount of people watching here live, as well as every single pit stall filled on up here tonight. So folks, tonight's gonna be a good one here. 100 laps here tonight in the street stocks to do battle. But first, we gotta set the starting order here tonight. That of course being done here in qualifying. We will take the best of a driver's 2 laps, and from there we will set the grid. But of course, with short track racing, a little bit of a twist involved. Top 12 positions gonna be inverted, so if you qualify with the quick time, you are gonna start 12th. If you're 12th quickest, you will lead the field to the green flag. As we are looking at the 97 machine, this is Riley Duncan. Duncan in the Bass Pro Shops 97 machine through 3 and 4 for his first time lap. He will hit the stripe lap number 1 down and away. A pretty good lap by Duncan. He goes quick time with an 18.73. So a great lap for the 97 machine here, lap number 1. Payne right now, P number 2. Zach Nichols slots into P number 3 here. So Nichols may not walk away with a quick time. We saw last season, he absolutely killed it here in qualifying, especially in the street stocks. Duncan does not go quicker, lap number 2. Lap number 2 in 18.82. So at the moment, though, Riley Duncan going to be on the pole. And starting in 12th, we take a look here at the 7 machine. This is Pete Dillon. Dillon big time sideways off turn number 4 here for lap number 1. Dillon first lap, definitely some time to be desired. An 18.97, that will put him all the way back in 22nd. Dillon led the field to the green flag here last night in the late model stocks. I believe led the most amount of laps, but couldn't quite keep those fast cars with the invert behind him, and I think lost a little bit of speed here when the tires fell on off. Lap number 2, better for the 7 machine, only an 18.90, so that will put him all the way in 19th. So you can see a 7.2 to a 9.0, about 0.2 of a second, separating, first through 20th here tonight. Another driver here making their first start this season is the 099. This is Matthew Modulewski. Modulewski not liking that run there down the backstretch and into turn number 3, so he's not going to get time to complete a lap. So Modulewski going to start one of those back marker spots from 28th on back. It looks like Lee Hamby not taking a time. Same with Travis Wright as well. So that will do it here tonight in qualifying. 27 cars took a lap, and the quick time here tonight going to the 97 machine. That is Riley Duncan. So we got to give Riley Duncan his flowers here tonight. An awesome lap, and that will be good enough for the quick time here for race number 2. And we'll see how this shakes on out. Of course, last week's winner at Charlotte was the 66 machine of Scott Rochford. He's looking to go 2 in a row. That was his 2nd career win. But here tonight, it's going to be a barn burner, folks. And I have a feeling with some of the names we see here tonight, we may find a new winner here. We have some big names in here tonight like James Pileski, Jaden Kratachi, Zach Nichols, Brian Hacker, Mark Fuquay, Scott Negus, Chuck Darling, Andrew Payne. We have some heavy hitters here tonight ready to do battle at the Five Flag Speedway. Taking a look here tonight at kind of the race conditions, the track conditions as well, as we take a look at the race information. Of course, Five Flags half-mile speedway, turns 3 and 4, as you can see, ever so slightly tighter, but where problems happen is off of turn number 4. That banking starts to go away pretty quickly, and that front stretch wall comes up in a hurry. Five Flags, of course, half mile here, 78 degrees, partly cloudy, 2 miles an hour. pretty similar to kind of the time of day and the track conditions we saw last night. So drivers that are doing the double duty racing on Tuesday nights and Wednesdays might have a slight advantage of what to expect with the track. But of course here tonight, totally different car with the street stocks. Got to drive it a little bit different in the big scenario tonight. Of course, no sets of tires over the wall. So these drivers will have to finish on the set of tires they start with here. So everyone's got to keep that right rear tire underneath them, because we know 5 flags, especially on the short track schedule, is usually a pretty good tire eater. As that will do it here tonight in warm-up. So let's head on down trackside for tonight's starting lineup. Here tonight for the starting lineup of race number 2 of the American Sim Racing Club Street Stock Series will look like the following. Chuck Darling in the 88, hoping to have Lady Luck on his side, will start in the best position here tonight. He will start on the front row, leading the field to green in P number 1. Scott Austin last night found himself chatting with me after the race. He finished up on the podium in P number 3. He's hoping to do exactly what he did last night. He starts on the outside of the front row in P number 2. And to P number 3 here, this guy in the 20 machine had himself a good run. Didn't quite have the luck on his side, and kind of the finish to kind of brag about when it's all said and done. Hopefully he's going to change it up here tonight. It's the 20 machine of Regan Ford. Then to his outside here, he has visited victory lane many times here in ASRC. It is the 11 car of Jaden Kratachi. Then in P number 5 will be the 18. That is our friend from up north. It is Dev McDonald rolling off P number 5. Brian Hacker here in the double O2, or the O2 on the car, making a street stock start here. He will roll off P number 6 here tonight. Rolling off P number 7 will be the 55. That is Scott Negus rolling off P number 7. And then in 8th is the 78. A solid qualifying effort by this guy. It is JJ McCrae rolling off 8th. 9th going to the 013. That is Ty Delphia rolling off P number 9. Then to round out the top 10 will be the 44. That is Zach Nichols. Andrew Payne in the 93 machine will roll off 11th. And then quick time here tonight is the 97 machine of Riley Duncan, starting in 12th. 13th will go to the driver of the 52. That is Jeff Dillon. 14th is the 17 of Greggy Long. Starting P number 15 is the 48. That is Tim Rogers. Then in 16th, it is Mark Fuquay in the 6th. 17th going to the 39 of James Pileski. 18th is Hayden Swank in the 35. Pete Dillon in the 7 will start 19th. 20th going to Stephen Rochford in the 66. He will start tail end of the field with the shotgun rule. 21st going to the 038 of Braden Cook. 22nd is Caleb Ramsey in the 41. Zach Hoyer will start 23rd. 24th going to Scott Rochford in the 077. 25th is Nick DeBoer in the 900. JT Batson in the 014, rolling off 26. 27th going to Dave Payne. 20th is Travis Wright. 29th, Leaf Hambly. And then Matthew Moduleski rounding out the field here. And it looks like Moduleski, Wright, and Hamby all not at least taking the initial green flag start here, as it looks like they might be pit side or maybe not even taking the green flag here. So that will do it for our 30 car field here tonight, as it looks like the 88 machine of Chuck Darling on the tail end of the field. So we'll start towards the back. That will now move up Regan Ford in the 20 machine in control of the field here. Of course, still the 5 machine of Scott Austin to his outside. Here we go, folks. Ford on the loud pedal, and we go green flag racing here from 5 Flag Speedway. 2x2 throughout the whole entire field here, as it looks like Dev McDonald might get the advantage on Austin down the backstretch. They will stay side by side, still with right behind them as well. First laps in the books, and we are green flag racing with a lot of side-by-side action throughout the field. 100 laps here is a decent amount of laps around the speedway, but of course, if this gets into a long run here, folks, laps can click off here in a hurry, as we saw, you know, under 25-second laps, and that's what we'll see probably all night long. Regan Ford out in front by himself, then Scott Austin still trying to work over Devin McDonald for P number 2. Right behind them, Scott Negus in the 55 machine trying to work some magic here. Then we head a little bit further back for some cars 2 by 2, at least 3 rows deep, as Andrew Payne tries to work over Jaden Kritachi. Right behind them, Zach Nichols, and then our quick time qualifier, Riley Duncan on the inside lane. Up top is, of course, Jaden Kritachi, as well as the 2 machine of Brian Hacker, trying to find something out in the no man's land at the moment. Of course, here to start the race, going to be bottom side dominant, but as that inside lane starts to heat on up, as more and more cars both continue to put rubber down in that lane, as well as track temperature, we may see some guys start moving on up, especially if these cars start to build loose. They will try and move up the racetrack to get some momentum, get some stability with them, maybe a smidge extra banking through these corners here at Five Flags. Payne has gotten around the 13 machine of Delphia, so that will move Payne up into 5th, the 13 machine down into 6th, and now he is under fire from Zach Nichols in the 44 machine, who will make a dive and move into turn number 3. He will be now door number to door number here at the stripe. Up front, not missing any action. It is still the same, just about how they took the green flag, at least after lap number 1 here. As now McDonald trying to hold off the 55 machine of Negus. This, of course, looking at the best battle on the racetrack here at the moment, as now Riley Duncan trying to work over the 13 machine. Brian Hacker right behind has made his way to the inside lane here and trying to make his way back up through the field. Then right behind these guys, all single filed out throughout the field. Everyone trying to pick and choose their strategy, what they want to do and what they're hoping not to do early on in this race. 10th of the way here done, this time by at the stripe so far. All 10 laps being led by the 20 machine, as now we see Brian Hacker complete the pass for P number 8. Now it is Jaden Kritachi, who got strung out on the high side for quite a few laps. Now back on the inside lane, just inside the top 10. Now here right behind them, JJ McCray trying to get up into the top 10 back here. Once again, we'll do that at the start finish line. Now the 13 machine finally sees an opening, able to get down on that inside lane right in front of the 48 of Tim Rogers. Roger, one of those cars here on the move here to start the race. He is up 3 positions, up into 12th. Right behind them here, James Pileski trying to get around the 52 machine of Jeff Dillon. This is a battle for 13. As right behind them as well, Pete Dillon, Hayden Swank go door to door here through 3 and 4. Swank a little bit sideways on corner entry. We'll have the run though. We'll get clear of the 7 machine. Dillon will slam the door shut right on the nose of the 6 car here. So Fuquay having to get on the binders just a little bit to not get in the back of the 7. Now everyone single filed out here running this inside lane. Everyone just trying to take care of their stuff, try and click off some laps here before it starts to get really, really dicey. So Ford still out in front, about 3/4 of a second advantage over Scott Austin. Then you can see the rest of the field making their way through turns 3 and 4. Looks like the first side-by-side battle, well, one of them, looks like Zach Coyer in this black and white 13 machine getting around the 41 of Caleb Ramsey. Right in front of them, Hayden Swank here, now trying to get around the 52 of Jeff Dillon. So Swank, another car on a mission. the third kind of biggest mover of the night. He is up 4 positions from where he started. Of course, started in the 18th position up into 14th here as they come to complete lap 17 of 100. So far, it looks like most cars here looking good, fairly planted here, as now we see a move for P number 4 here, as Andrew Payne able to get quickly around the 55 machine of Scott Negus. So Andrew Payne, a man on the mission, biggest mover since the drop of the green flag. He started in P number 11, was second quickest in the timing sheet at the end of qualifying. He has made it up into the top 5, and he is on a mission here. Now trying to work over Devin McDonald. This is for a podium spot here, folks. So Andrew Payne figuring out something early. You got to wonder, is Payne pushing those tires a little bit too early? Only of a fifth of the way through tonight's event here, but if we stay how we're staying here, folks, it might be a very, very long run, which would be awesome to see by these drivers. Oh man, you saw the 5-car Scott Austin right in front of this battle get a little wiggly wobbly off turn number 2, so you can tell these drivers starting to feel that right rear starting to maybe go just a little bit if they are not driving this car to the optimal limit. Zach Nichols here working on the 55 machine. Let's ride on board with Brian Hacker in the 2 machine. Let's see what he's seeing with some battling in front of him, as well as see what he's doing for a little rhythm out here tonight at 5 Flags. You can see Scott Negus right in front of Brian Hacker, who we ride on board with, able to get down to the bottom lane here, but Hacker able to exit the corner just a little bit lower than the 55, showing that nose in that rear view mirror. And I like that corner entry. You saw Hacker enter high, carry a little bit more momentum, and now allow him to get a nose to the inside of the 55. An absolutely textbook short track pass right there by Brian Hacker. Quarter of the way already through this race, so if this race stays under the green flag, you know, we'll see these laps click on by very quickly as we look at this battle for P number 6 here, as Hacker in the 2 trying to work over the 55 machine. And right behind them, Riley Duncan waits to see which lane here completes the pass first, and will probably try and fill that hole before it gets filled on up. Right in front of them, Zach Nichols able to crack into the top 5, now trying to get around Dev McDonald for P number 4. Andrew Payne has reeled in. Our race leader is within a car length here, so pretty soon here we'll probably have to go to the battle for the race lead, as the 55 Negus here loses a spot to Austin, now to Duncan, and maybe even Kratacci, as here we go, battle for the race lead. Andrew Payne to the inside of Regan Ford. Ford has led every lap up until this point. Can he hold a fight on the outside lane? Ford drives it in there deep, gets up in the marbles a little bit sideways for the 20 machine, and at the stripe it will go to the 93 machine of Payne. Ford has to be smart here, has to realize who his battle is with, and it looks like we'll be smart here. We'll drop into the bottom lane right behind Payne and in front of Scott Austin, but Ford gave Payne a shot there, and maybe Ford got a little bit loose. He was a little bit slow there at the apex. That opens up the door for Zach Nichols to get to the inside and clear the pass of Scott Austin. Austin had to maybe wait a split second for the throttle, and with these cars being so close with the fixed setup, that's all the kind of advantage or the opportunity the 44 needs to pounce. So Zach Nichols here trying to set up Regan Ford for a battle for P number 2 here. Everyone else still single file throughout the field. Looks like first side-by-side battle going to be Pete Dillon and Mark Fuqua for about 15th out on track. JJ McCray also trying to set up a pass here on the 55 machine further on back. Here we go, battle for second. Nichols to the inside of Ford. Now Payne has to be for sure watching that mirror, seeing how quickly Nichols can get to his back bumper, as well as if he can hold him on off. Still quite a bit of racing left in tonight's race. As once again, Ford loose on the outside lane through 3 and 4. The outside may not be a viable option too much, because it seems like, as you can tell with the black speckles out there, that is marbles, that is chunks of rubber coming off these virtual race cars, and then that is making this track looser. So if people want to start working that outside lane, they're going to have to slowly start doing it, as Ford big time slide through 3 and 4 and even off of turn number 4. Ford definitely heated up those rear tires here and now is paying the price, as it looks like Austin will probably get around the 20 machine, as he is just trying to hang on to that race car. As last time through 3 and 4, he was big time sideways. This lap looking a little bit better. But if there's two drivers that love to see this field slow on down just a little bit, it is the 93 and the 44 who are starting to check out in front of the field here. Oh man, Riley Duncan got a little bit loose. He continues to be loose, as he got loose, washed up the racetrack just a little bit, up into almost the side of the 18 machine of Dem McDonald. Both cars having to slide up the racetrack. That will slow down their momentum just a little bit, give Ford a little bit of breathing room, maybe try and cool down that right rear, as these guys continue to battle for our 5th position at the moment. Further on back here, looks like JJ McCray, Ty Delphia, Tim Rogers now working on the 55 machine of Scott Negus. Negus falling in the wrong direction here and continuing to slip through the field, as now James Pileski in this 93 car working on over. Riley Duncan still not clear of the 18 machine, probably not helping with the 20 car right in front of him. That might be slowing down the 93 just a little bit on this inside lane here. So Dem McDonald might be able to make something work on the high lane, as yeah, Ford fighting this race car big time. Let's ride on board with Regan Ford, just trying to see him work this wheel and keep this car underneath him. As we ride on board, take a look at those hands. You can see Ford to the left, to the right, sawing on that race car. Big time moment off at turn number 4, and you can see that wheel. Oh, as him and Duncan make pretty good contact. They lean on each other here through turns 1 and 2. Duncan here able to slide in front of the 20, does get some help, gets a shot in the shorts from the 20. Man, Riley Duncan using up this racetrack here and getting sideways because of it. He will finally get cleared, trying once again chase down Dem McDonald, but you can see McDonald able to run away and hide just a little bit, as everyone trying to get around Ford, who is struggling big time with the handling of the 20 machine. Jaden Kurtachi look like getting around now. It is the 78 machine of JJ McCray. Brian Hacker, though, sitting in kind of a bad spot here up in the second lane behind the 20 machine, as oh man, Hacker gets a little bit neck code. He was big time sideways there, somehow hangs onto that race car, but man, that could have been a lot worse. With Jaden Kurtachi also getting sideways there, that opens up the door for the 78 of McCray. So McCray now up into P number 6 here. As Regan Ford, how many more laps can this guy hang onto this race car? He is trying with all his might here, but the one bummer for the 20 is we don't have any other sets of tires on pit road, can't switch them on out, so he is just going to have to hope for a caution flag at some point, cool off those tires. But right now that handling definitely not with that driver, as we do get a caution here. It looks like the 13 machine of Zach Coy here. Yes, he is stopped on the front stretch here as he will try and get that thing turned on around. Oh, just a little bit of contact here as he will get that thing turned around right before the leaders come. So Coyer will stay on the lead lap. So let's take a look, see what happened to the 13 machine of Zach Coyer. Coyer looks like was running about the 17th position at the moment here, and Coyer a little bit loose through turns 3 and 4 up in the second lane, trying to work his way down to the bottom lane here. And I think, yeah, just gonna have the right rear step out from under the 13 machine. Tries to save the race car, putting some wheel to the right, but as any good oval track racer knows, you don't want to put too much weight, I should say, put too much wheel to the right in that car, because you'll have it snap around just like this, but even more violently as he slides just in front of last week's winner, Stephen Rochford. Dave Payton getting on by Chuck Darling as well. As, yeah, that could have been a big time moment. Luckily, everyone looking past their hood pins, and it looks like Zach Coyer getting lucky with that one. No one else involved here. So with the first caution of the night underway, it looks like the 099 machine of Matthew Modulewski going to get the wave around here. So I believe that will put Modulewski on the lead lap. He missed qualifying as well as the grid here tonight, so he should be back on the lead lap, and that'll put 28 of 28 cars that took the green flag out here on the lead lap. This time by, we see the 1 to go as well as the cross flags here. So under our first caution, we get to halfway home in race number 2 of the American Sim Racing Club Street Stock Series. Andrew Payne gonna elect the inside lane here on the restart. That'll put Zach Nichols in the 44 outside of row number 1. Andrew Payne gonna be in control though, can fire on off as whenever he wants, as long as the iRacing Pace truck hits pit road, which it does. And Andrew Payne early on the loud pedal. I like the call. Payne will get clear here. Zach Nichols maybe missing a shift from second to third there, losing on that second position to Scott Austin, who has the advantage going into turn number 3. Further on back here, one car turning on around. It's a 13 machine once again of Zach Coyer. Coyer, luck not on his side here as he will get that roll, and we will stay green flag racing. And throughout the field, we see 2 by 2 for a lot of it. Zach Nichols able to slam the door shut right in front of Scott Austin for P number 2. Riley Duncan trying to do the same, and will do the same to the 18 machine of Devin McDonald. So Duncan, he started 12th. He had the quick time here tonight. He is up into P number 4 just after halfway. Right behind them, we see Jaden Kurtachi trying to work over JJ McRae for P number 6, right behind the 18 of McDonald here. We see Zach Coyer here going 1 lap down. Will try and stay out of the way of the field right against the fence here. As, oh man, Mark Fuqua in the 6, big time sideways off turn number 4. Somehow all of these drivers will hang on to their race cars, but we go 3 wide as once again Fuqua makes some contact, maybe receives some contact, but somehow once again hangs on to that number 6 machine. Man, oh man, intense battling back here. That being the likes of the 41 of Caleb Ramsey, Stephen Rochford, the 20 machine Regan Ford, the 17 who we're looking at, Greggy Long, Jeff Dillon, Dave Payton, Chuck Darling, all in the mix right here as well. One car way up the racetrack, it's the 11 machine of Jaden Kurtachi. Kurtachi will lose about 5 spots right there, so I would have to assume he got some help there, was sent way up the racetrack, way out of the groove, and will have to once again put his head down to try and get back through the field here. Zach Nichols has gotten just around Andrew Payne for the race lead, so Zach Nichols here for lap number 60 will take the lead. Andrew Payne gonna try the crossover move. The battle for the race lead not over yet, as now Payne to the inside of Nichols as they go side by side into turn number 1. Nichols gonna get on the brakes hard. We'll try the crossover here. Payne trying to defend from that, try to really slow on down, but once again, Nichols back to the inside of Payne. Once again, side by side here at the stripe, advantage going to Andrew Payne at the line. But these guys battling like this, it's going to be only a matter of time before Scott Austin, Riley Duncan can join the pack. As, wow, Nichols low off turn number 2. He is on the defensive trying to prevent that crossover. At the moment here, Nichols going to hang on to P number 1, give himself just a tiny bit of breathing room, about a half a car length separating first and second, then about a 5-car length back to the 5-car Scott Austin. Riley Duncan riding in fourth, JJ McCrae now rounding out the top 5. James Pileski here trying to work over the 18 machine of Devin McDonald, 1 car way off the pace. The 11 machine of Jaden Kratacci. Not sure if Jaden's having some sort of issue. Looks like, yeah, the 11 car of Kratacci will bring it down pit road. Probably called a night here. So you hate to see it for the 11 car. One of the favorites to win here tonight. Just not having the night he wanted. He will be the second retirement of the race, as I believe Zach Coyer is still out on track, but Regan Ford done for the night. Battle for second here. These two starting to lean on each other just a little bit. Riley Duncan trying to get around the 5 machine of Scott Austin. Oh man, Duncan way up the racetrack there. Will use up the 5 car quite a bit. That almost opened up the door for that black and purple 78 machine of McCrae right there. And don't look now, folks, but in this battle as well, the 48 machine of Tim Rogers was involved in a couple incidents last night. Said, man, my expectations with these ASRC races most of the time these days is just getting used up by other drivers. Right now, Tim Rogers putting on a great show as he drives his 48 machine into the top 5. Still side by side for this third position here, folks. And here in a minute, probably going to take a break from yapping at you folks and do everyone's fan favorite, a little turn 3, turn it up. So as we watch these cars continue to do battle here, we'll do a little turn 3, turn it up with about 30 laps to go. And we'll be right back here as we watch this awesome battle for P number 3. And it looks like here, folks, caution flag number 2 coming on out. It looks like the 35 machine of Hayden Swank here slow on the racetrack. So we will try and see what happened to Hayden Swank. But a couple of those speed shots, folks, we got to see right in the corner. A lot of these race cars, those right rears stepping on out. And these cars becoming a handful with now about only 30 laps left. So we'll take a look here, see what happened to the 35 machine of Hayden Swank. Swank coming into turn number 1 has the 13 right on his bumper. And I would have to guess maybe get some help here as we take a look here. Swank in the purple number 35. Brian Hacker right in front of him in the red and black 2 machine gets big time sideways. Same with the 35 machine of Swank, excuse me. And then you can see the contact from the rear bumper of the 35 from the nose of the 013 Adelphia, and that will send the 35 machine of Swank around. Luckily, another pretty much single car incident, so will not involve anyone else. Still, everyone that has completed all the laps so far still on the lead lap and still racing. Still 26 cars out here, folks. As this time by the 13 machine of Zach Coyer will get the lucky dog, so that will move him onto the lead lap and make everyone out here, all 26 cars, still on the lead lap. So this time by here, folks, we will have to choose, and kind of a no-brainer here, Zach Nichols going to choose the inside lane. So that'll move Payne to the outside of the front row. And then some very fast cars in row number 2. Riley Duncan, JJ McCrae right there. And probably Nichols and Payne didn't want to see that. They had themselves a nice lead up until this second caution. So here we go. The 44 machine of Zach Nichols in control of the restart. We'll go nice and early in the restart box. And we go back to green flag racing here at Five Flag Speedway. Payne able to at least stay to the outside of Nichols down the front stretch. Payne gonna try and slot in front of Duncan. Will do that. Payne will look to the inside of Nichols through 3 and 4. Not quite anything there, but once again, it's gonna be Nichols, Payne in the first 2 spots. Duncan able to be by himself in P number 3. Then behind them 2 by 2 as these drivers try to fight for any position they can get here late in the stages, because we are into that countdown clock. It is 25, now 24 laps to go here at Five Flags. Field still trying to sort themselves out. Further on back, you can see quite a few battles, but we of course taking a look at this battle for P number 5 as McCrae getting the advantage on the 5 car of Scott Austin. And Austin has to be careful, has quite a few fast race cars right on the rear bumper cover. Duncan that time though did not get a good turn number 2. That will slow down the 97. Austin gets a shot in the door. He will try and save that race car. Big time calamity down the front stretch. Oh man. Chuck Darling involved. Scott Roachford involved as well. Last week's winner in the 66. He has some pretty heavy damage as that started, I want to say, quite a bit ago. I think almost maybe off of turn number 2, as for some reason Riley Duncan was kind of slow on the racetrack, and that just bottled up the inside lane all the way until I think Scott Austin got turned on around. As we take a look here now, as the 97 machine super loose down on the inside lane. Austin trying to get on around him. We'll try and go from the middle lane down low. James Pileski thought he could have a little bit more room, gets into the quarter panel of him, and then from that, just big time calamity down the front stretch as Austin has so much wheel to the right. The car finally unloads, snaps right across, and man, Pete Dillon just sneaking on through, Greggy Long getting a piece of it, and then there's the big hit to the right rear of the 66. That will send him across the track here, as you can see him make heavy contact with the outside wall. Brian Hacker just sneaking on through. Looks like Devin McDonald will get a piece of it. Same with Chuck Darling, as we mentioned before. As yeah, let's try and ride on board with the 2 machine of Brian Hacker, because he had to be inches away from getting in multiple incidents here. As we ride on board with Hacker here at full speed, you can see the calamity going on down low. Then up top, he gets on the brakes, and one more car to miss as, wow, Brian Hacker through the smoke and getting away unscathed when it's all said and done. So 3rd caution here tonight, the first big one of the night here at Five Flag Speedway. And it looks like lights are out around the speedway, so we will go back to green here once again. Zach Nichols in the 44 in control of the restart. Andrew Payne on the outside. Payne had a pretty good start here. We'll try it again here. It looks like Payne will have an opening down low if he can slam the door shut on McRae. That he'll do there, so Payne will have a little bit of run on Zach Nichols. Will he take a look going down into turn number 3? Looks like will not. Payne will just ride in P number 2. Here comes now Tim Rogers trying to get some work done on the high side and handsome for the 48 machine in the Skull Bandit. He's trying to build up some momentum. It seems like at least with the double file restarts, it has cleaned off the outside lane. Some momentum up there if he can hold it. But we get our 4th caution of the night here. As about 15 laps to go. We will try and see what happens. Looks like the 41 machine of Caleb Ramsey slow on the racetrack. So we'll try and see here as Ramsey gets into the door of Stephen Roachford. Ends up sliding almost down onto pit road. And it looks like another 1-car incident. So besides the big one here for our 3rd caution, all just single car incidents when it's all said and done. And before the end of this one, as the field is slow under caution, we will throw it to a quick commercial break with our partners at Turn 3 Racing Network. A quick word from Premier Setup Shops. Alrighty, folks, we come back here to the 5 Flag Speedway with a little bit of some drone action here on the infield of the track. Going to take a look here at the front running cars here. Once again, Zach Nichols going to choose the inside lane and will have control of the field in that red number 44 machine. Andrew Payne has been getting pretty solid restarts up on the outside lane. Can he do it again? It's going to be about an 11-lap shootout when it's all said and done. As here we go, iRace and Pace Truck off of the track. Zach Nichols on the loud pedal. JJ McRae a better start. Here we go, folks. Tim Rogers a little slow on the outside lane. This is where it gets wild here. Intensity turned up to 110%. It is going to be full elbows out racing from here. This time by, we will see 2 open palms from the flagman. It will be 10 laps to go as Zach Nichols lead the way. Andrew Payne able to get down on the inside lane. Looks like the 6 car of Mark Rootway having a moment off turn number 4. Was a little bit slow for one reason or another. We'll lose a couple spots there. Up in front though, a great battle here between the 48 and the 13 machine. Tim Rogers still committed to the outside lane, trying to find something happening on the outside here with 9 laps to go. James Pileski here in the 93 machine, no front nose cover, and he is still driving to the front. We'll get to the inside of the 13 machine as we get our 5th caution of the night. It looks like the Purple People Eater, the 35 machine of Hayden Swank here, slow off of turn number 4. We'll take a look here, see what happened to Swank as they come through turns 3 and 4. Riley Duncan big time sideways. That shoots Deb McDonald down just a little bit, slows down that line just enough where Hayden Swank had no time to react. Gets into the side of him, gets into the inside wall. And that brings out our 5th caution of the night. And with this, we start getting close to a green-white checkered scenario here, folks. By the time we go back to green, it will be just before the last attempt at a green-white checkered, but once probably everything gets sorted on out, it'll probably be pretty close to an unofficial green-white checkered here without using up the actual last overtime attempt here. So big time movers and shakers up through the field. Tim Rogers in P number 4. He finds himself up 11 spots from where he started. Then the driver behind him, the 93 or the 39 of James Pileski, up 12 spots. And then the biggest mover, he found himself a lap down for over half of this race. The 099 machine of Matthew Modulewski. He is up into 10th, about 20 spots above where he started. He started dead last. He has made his way onto the lead lap and up into the top 10. Here we go, folks. Zach Nichols once again in control of the restart. It will be a 4-lap shootout as we go green flag racing once again here. Andrew Payne able to slot down right behind the 44. Will Payne give Nichols a shot before the end of this one? Right behind them, it looks like McRae has the advantage on Rogers, but Rogers sailing it into turn number 3 up on the top side. It will be 3 laps to go here at the stripe. Front 2 cars trying to check on out 1 car in the wall here. That is the 99 machine of Modulewski. They go 3 wide racing here off turn number 2. They will continue to race like that. 1 car way down low. Oh, 1 car hard in the wall. That is the 900 machine of Nick DeBoer. And it looks like Hayden Swank, as well as the 38 machine of Braden Cook involved here. And with this late race yellow, the 6th time out here tonight, this will definitely be a green-white checkered here to end things. We take a look here trying to see what happened to the 900. I think something happened up in front of him, as yeah, you see Coyer the 77, and oh my god, what a big hit for the 0900 there. I don't know if it was net code or what happened to him, as we will try and slow things on down just a little bit, but that car for some reason just snapped hard right, as it pretty much started right here between the 77-13 and the 6 here, going into turn number 3. 3 wide race and trying to go down to 2. And it looks like Zach Coyer trying to get to the nose of the 77. 77 having to chase in that car. Coyer having to try and save that car down low. And then, yeah, not sure what happened to DeBoer, but man, a horrible impact into that outside wall. Then Hayden Swank trying to get on by. Same with Braden Cook. Scott Negus getting a piece of the outside wall, but wow, what a big impact for the 900 car. Holy smokes. As yeah, these boys started well here, Ken and Steven, but man, these guys tearing up some race cars at the end of this one. You can tell the intensity's turned on up. At least the top 10 has been some awesome racing all night long, but yeah, wrecking some cars here, and here we go. The 1 attempt at a green-white checkered. Lights will go out. Once again, Zach Nichols choosing the inside lane. And here we go. Just like always with the green-white checkers, if we see the white flag, we are racing back to the checkered no matter what happens. If we get a caution here before we see the white flag, we will finish the race under that caution flag. iRacing Pace truck here makes its way to pit road, and Zach Nichols early on the loud pedal. We go green flag racing one last time here on 5 Flag Speedway. Nichols missed a shift there, the 3rd, 4th shift, not where he wants. Here comes Andrew Payne up top. 2x2 for about the whole top 10 here, folks. As this time by, we will see the white flag. 1 more lap to go. As there for 5th, we see Long and Rogers leaning on each other. Payne able to slot into a gap that was maybe a car length at that. Payne will have one attempt right here if he decides to use it. Will not. We'll let Zach Nichols get his flowers off turn number 4. Contact sideways, and Zach Nichols picks up the win as big time calamity into turn number 1. Man, oh man, we are not done wrecking race cars here. But wow, what a finish inside of the top 5. As we got to take a look here one more time at that finish. Slowed on down here. As we take a look here one more time off turn number 4, you can see Pileski gets a shot in the shorts from Greggy Long. That car a little bit sideways here at the stripe. We'll get into the side of Tim Rogers, and then after that, it is just cars just trying to hit the stripe here as we see them all start to come together. As man, what a finish. 2 weeks in a row, some great finishing towards the end of these ones. As Zach Nichols here on the front stretch already parked it. We'll be chatting with him just in a minute. Top 3 will be McRae, Payne, and Nichols all chatting with us here in just one moment with the post-race show. So we'll be right up with that here right after a quick commercial break and get these drivers out of these race cars.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we come back here to Five Flag Speedway, and first driver we'll be talking to is our 3rd place finisher, that being the 78 machine of JJ McRae. JJ, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yes, sir, got you.
Alrighty, man. A heck of a race here. You had some speed qualified inside the invert. How'd that car feel, and how are we feeling after 100 pretty intense laps when it's all said and done?
So that was a ton of fun. Yeah, I qualified. I think it started 8th or 9th or something, and saved a little at the start. And by halfway, it was slick as hell out here. The cars were sliding all over, so it was a lot of fun finding ways around and dodging people.
Yeah, that it was. These tires seemed like they were definitely used up by the end of it. And of course, some late race restarts. It seemed like luckily you're able to start on the inside. But how stressful are these restarts, especially with shifting with these cars?
Oh, they're super sketchy. The street stock for me, for some reason, will miss a shift every now and again, so I was super nervous of that, but I made out okay. Had some good luck today anyway.
Yeah, that you did a great run for the 78. I was looking at your stats here coming into tonight. This is about your 12th or so start with the league here. Coming into tonight, only one top 5, so to end up probably where you deserve, because it seems like the 78 car, especially this season, both in the late model stocks and the street stocks, has a lot of speed. So it's great to see you up on the podium here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. There's a lot of good, hard, fast racers in this group, so I didn't really expect to be getting this kind of result, but I'll take them when they come.
Yeah, and that tonight you did just that. And of course, green white checkered at the end. You knew you had to race there hard. Andrew Payne filling in a gap that barely had a car length. And then, of course, coming to the checkered, it all breaks loose, and somehow you're able to get that car. I'm sure you're just looking at that start finish line trying to cross it.
Oh yeah, 100%. It was right after the race. I decided to have a little yard sale on the front stretch there, so I think I had a good bit of parts spread out everywhere for people to pick through. So made it a lot of fun though, and was some good hard racing getting there.
Yeah, I think this race car might need a reclip when we see it next. What do you think?
Yeah, with any luck, have to take her down to the shop and assess the situation.
Yeah, but overall, that doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you finished P number 3 here. Probably feeling pretty good. I mean, for the season, I see you running both series, both the late model stocks on Tuesday, street stocks here tonight, of course. And what's kind of the game plan, mindset for the season, and all that good stuff?
Well, I just want to try and make it out each and every week and be able to contend with some of the faster guys in here. Top 5, top 10s would be great. So, yeah, just if they keep clicking off, then I'll just be tickled pink. Couldn't be happier.
Yeah, and of course, you finish up on the podium with some, of course, very fast guys. I mean, beating quite a few as well. So you were right there in the mix, JJ, once again here. And even last night, you had a lot of speed. Didn't quite have probably the finish you'd like, but is Five Flags just a good track for you, or what'd you figure out for this place?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a fun track, especially tonight. Once it started to get pretty slick, you can really make the top lane work, and you can go fast in either lane and pass a car wherever they ain't. So makes for some good racing.
Yeah, and speaking about the passes, like we mentioned, you had to start deep in the field with the invert. How tough was it to set up cars, and what was kind of the game plan of trying to get around cars? Because that's always the toughest part when it comes to racing, especially with an invert.
Wasn't too bad. There was a couple times I was just trying to fill a guy's mirror basically, and try and stay off him and stay clean and poke around to the outside if you get a chance and wheel on by. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked like a blast here tonight, especially with this setup, like you said, a little bit on the looser side, having to be conscious of the throttle here. So, JJ, always a great pleasure talking to you, my man. Once again, congrats on the third. Also, I got to ask, I always like to get a little bit of insight. We can't talk about chassis builders or anything like that here on iRacing, but what we can talk about is a good old sim racing setup. So what do you have, my man, for like wheels, pedals, and what are you looking at?
I got a SimMagic Alpha mini wheel and V&M pedals and a Six Sigma, I think it is, rig I'm sitting in, but little marketplace pickup. Little deal, too good to be true.
Always a good stuff. And is that SimMagic? I assume that's the good old direct drive wheel?
Yeah, you got her. That's a huge help.
Yeah, and those direct drives, man, I don't know when you switch to it, but I heard those can be a big time game changer to really feel the car even better than, than you think you can. Because that's the only way, you can feel a sim racing car is you can get a little bit of indication from the eyes, but you're just feeling it in the wheel. That's the only feedback we get.
That's right. You're going to be able to react to it and know what it's telling you and what it wants to go a little faster, but the good wheel definitely helps.
Yeah, that it does. So awesome job here tonight, JJ. And yeah, a sweet looking paint scheme. Is this a throwback to anything, a reference to another car? Because I really dug last season when you brought out that late model stock, throwing it back.
No, this one's got the colors of my parents' cars on it, and some good local companies that support me to be here, like David R. McFarlane and R&D Performance in the Spitfire pub in Windsor. But yeah, I'd like to thank all them and the family at home watching.
Yeah, awesome stuff. I always love to see the 78 car, both in the late model stocks as well as the street stocks, because you always come out here in these very, very awesome looking old school as well as clean paint schemes, and they just usually stand on out in the broadcast. So nice job with that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I love the old school stuff.
Oh, 100%. So, yep, JJ, we'll let you get rocking and rolling and celebrate this third. But before we let you go one more time, we'll hand over the mic to you and have you thank anyone else you'd like to thank, whether maybe some teammates, of course, like you mentioned before, some sponsors on the car, or maybe anyone else watching at home or anyone else you want to give a shout out to here on YouTube.
Yeah, that'll about do her. Thanks to my girlfriend for letting me come out here and do this a couple nights a week. That definitely makes it a lot easier knowing that I got her support.
Yeah, you can't forget her, as they always deal with this and be like sim racing. What's so much fun about that? But I'm sure you get the same sensations, especially when I jump in it. It's as close as the real thing you're gonna get. You get the adrenaline going. You can really get in the zone, I like to call it.
That's right, 100%. And even though I got destroyed coming across the finish line there, I'm gonna log on next week and the car's all gonna be fixed, and I've got to spend every night this week in the shop, so that's a win too.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. You wreck a race car, it's not thousands of dollars down the drain. It's a good old reset button.
Yeah, that's right. Can't complain about that.
No, you cannot. Well, JJ, it was great chatting with you here tonight. Good luck with the future races here. Would love to chat with you again. So you, my man, have yourself a great one. And once again, congrats on the P number 3.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hope to talk to you again next week.
All righty. We hope to that as well. So that is JJ McCrae in the 78 machine finishing P number 3. Now we'll head to our runner-up finisher. That being the 93. It's the Payne Train, Andrew Payne. Andrew, do you got a copy?
I got a copy.
Alrighty, my man. So, kind of 2 nights in a row here, admin's finishing runner-up. How are we feeling after this race? Because, of course, as we've seen the beginning of the season, gotta end in some green-white checkers here. And Andrew, once again, oh so close to the win, running, this time, a P number 2.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I'm definitely happy with the second place. Without a night's race went, and preparing for this one, we sort of knew that the rears were going to be a little, especially the right rear was going to be a little bit of a problem, and the first part of the run, it was just first 10 15 laps was in save mode. I know still making passes, but we were definitely saving, just trying to keep the right rear from getting hot, and as soon as you step out at all, get any sort of skew in these cars, it's sort of game over for those tires. And started early, just saving, but also making smart moves. Try to get myself in odd numbered positions, so if we happen to have a restart, I wouldn't be stuck on the high side. And it was a lot of just I don't know, saving, but also just trying to keep forward momentum through the field. And we ended up in the lead about 30 laps into the run, and it felt really good from there. I know Zach followed me through the field pretty good, and I was a little bit afraid though, because once we got done with that long run, that first initial run, we were about maybe 2.5 seconds in front of the rest of the field, and that worried me a little bit. I know I was saving, but it's still there's someone that can always save better than you can. So I was a little worried that we might have shown our cards a little too early. And then we got the second run going, and we pulled out to another big lead again, and that worried me even more because I thought at that point I was obviously doing something wrong, and we were burning up the right rear way more than we needed to. And I mean, those last few restarts sort of helped me. I know with being able to just cool the right rear down and all the tires down for 3 or 4 laps, it doesn't seem like much, but it saves a little bit. I'm sure with some of these cautions that were in quick succession, it hurt us a little bit because of all the heat cycles. But we ran good. I know Zach and I were battling, and I at one point when we were battling back and forth, I as much as I wanted the lead, I just wanted to get one of us out front just to be able to save and also pull away from the field. And we just at the end just got a bunch of cautions, and unfortunately we had a green white checkered. I didn't necessarily want to see that. I wanted to go green to the end, but we survived. I actually think Zach missed a shift on that last restart, and I ended up beside him, and I thought my race was probably done from there. I thought either I was going to spin out, because I was pretty loose at that point in time, or I was gonna accidentally get hit in the left rear because I know we were all sliding around pretty good there at the end, and thankfully we walk away with the second place, and I believe we might also have the points lead after this race, so we will take it and continue to build on these good runs. I mean, heck, if we finished third last week and second this week, maybe I'll keep the streak going and try to go for the win next week. But I just want to finish these races. I'm happy with how this season started out so far. I know we're only 2 races in, but it's good momentum, it's good learning, and to hopefully take us throughout the remaining 10 races.
Yeah, and Andrew, you mentioned there the points battle. I know we shouldn't talk about points this early, but you are in fact the points leader here exiting tonight. Stephen Rochford finishing 8th, Hayden Swink down there in 15th. So yeah, you, my man, coming out of here with the points lead. A great way to start the season, and like you said, last week finishing 3rd, this week 2nd. So if you keep on that trajectory, I mean, there's only one more spot you can finish, and that's one spot better.
Yeah, especially with being Bristol next week, I would absolutely love to win Bristol. I've been close a few times, as you know, we've had some good battles there. Probably one of my favorite ASRC finishes in the super late models a few seasons ago. But Bristol's a really good track. Hoping to just continue forward with how we've been running. I mean, top fives are what I want. Just clean green finishes is the main goal. I believe we actually ended up with 0 incident points as well, so we kept it really clean all night. So we're trending in a really good direction so far.
Yeah, you are a great way to start the season, and yeah, with going with that great finish, I remember that race like it was yesterday, Andrew. An awesome finish there at the end, but if we get a long green flag run there at Bristol, the field better watch out, because I know you behind the wheel at Bristol with a long run, you can start getting on rails with the train and start making some headway very quickly.
Yeah, I know. I know tonight was a good example of that, but I don't know. It's just you save for 10 or 15 laps in these cars, and I think the late model stocks were the same way last night. And as long as you can just keep the right rear on these things and keep the cars pretty much having the wheels in line with each other, it's really hard to burn the tires up quickly. And I know that percentages are probably going to be a little bit lower than some of those guys, that I finished ahead of. But as much as low tire percentages are, it's keeping heat out of tires too is also a big deal. And these guys can end up with about 10% more tire at the end than I can. But as long as I'm keeping it, within a certain threshold of temperature, it's it does the same benefit too. Um, but yeah, it's just as long as we can just keep keep the wheels on this thing, and you know don't do something dumb on my own and accidentally step out or just burn them up. And because I've had used to have habits of doing that, because you get out front and you see clean track and you just want to get out and go and get away from the field, and that's not as beneficial as one would see, or as it might seem, especially with not having extra sets of tires here. Just Yeah, just as long as we can just keep the thing pretty square, and I more battle my own driving ability rather than those guys around me, we should be pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's a great mindset to have, because, like you mentioned, you can get out front, start to push the car a little bit, and all it takes is one caution flag, bunch up the field, like you mentioned even earlier in the broadcast, have someone save a little bit better, and then you're just fighting for your life.
Yeah, I mean, it even showed tonight. I'm sure Zach saved a little bit more than I did, and he ended up winning the race, and I ended up finishing second. So, and JJ and Tim and James, those guys came through the field too at the end. And as much of a good driver as I like to think I am, if I can't keep the tires on the thing, driving ability or not, it's gonna come back to bite me. So we'll take what we learned this week, and go to Bristol and hope we put on another good show.
Yeah, I think you guys will as well, as long as Lady Luck on your side. One thing I got to mention, I love looking at the stats here, but coming into tonight, Andrew, you passed myself for the fourth for sure for the fourth most ever starts in the league, and now you set yourself a little bit more gap for the third most ever top fives in the league, now at 79. And with the starts, you're up to already 156, if you can believe that.
Man, it's been that just goes to show how long we've been running. And that that also includes me stepping out of the car on some nights as race control, now as the late model stock race control this season, as well as some previous series with the Xfinity cars in the next gen. So, man, it's been, I mean, 159 starts, 150 plus starts doesn't seem like much, but that's just over 4 years worth of racing at this point in this league. And top fives, I feel like I've lost out on some obvious opportunities on top fives just across those starts, but we're batting about 50% starts to top fives, so that's a pretty good percentage, I'd have to think. And last year with both the late models and the street stocks, my goal was to finish top 10 in every race, and I think barring a couple extracurricular finishes that we almost did that. I know we were a couple shy in the late model stocks, and street stocks was a whole other story. Last season, just trying to get my feet wet and get used to these cars. But yeah, same goal this season. Top tens, top fives are bonuses at this point. Just just good, just want to make good finishes. So that's weird to think about though, that I've cracked that many top fives and that many starts in the league. But looking forward to making more at this point.
Yep, and then one other stat I left on out, have to mention now, is laps led. You, of course, the lap led leader, but now probably over about 3,000 and about, I want to say, 3,060 laps, and continuing to spread that way and that gap over actually myself, who sits second in the laps led. So that's pretty impressive as well, with all as many starts as you had. 3,000 laps led with that as well. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it helps when we get some of these longer races, and I know when we were running the Xfinity cars a couple years ago, those were really good to me. Got a lot of laps led, and I know too. Unfortunately, in the earlier part of the league, when I was still trying to get my driving ability down on the sim in general, I had a lot of races that I just went out and led a lot of laps but burned them up towards the end. So it's cool to lead that many laps. It's I know with some of these races only being 100 laps, it's hard to make up ground on lap sled, but that's something to be proud of too. It means I've been out front for a lot of the races I've been in. Um, Unfortunately, I do think you would be a lot closer to me have had you been running more races. I know you haven't been in the car in the league for a little bit of time, so I think those laps would be a lot closer than they are. But we will take it right now, and I feel like we'll continue to grow all those stats going forward.
Oh, I would agree with that. Always a great pleasure talking with you, Andrew. Always a great time. Before we let you go and celebrate this P number 2, I'm going to go hand over the mic one last time to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether all important teammates, sponsors on the car, or maybe anyone at home tuning into the broadcast.
Well, first and foremost, huge shout out to you, Brett, and the Turn 3 Racing group. You guys have been a part of the league as broadcasters for a long time. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to going back and rewatching this one. This one should be really good. Huge shout out to Tanner and all the other admins for putting on this league and putting on this series. We've grown to have a really good league these last few years, and especially this beginning of this year with pulling really high car counts across both series. It's been a total blast so far. I'm hoping to that we continue going forward and growing the league and getting more races like this. Huge shout out to QuickTime Motorsports Media, Home Metal Fab, Citrus Hat Mower, V&H Fresh. Huge shout out to our league partners, Postma Flooring, and all of our other partners as well. Huge shout out to all of the fellow competitors out there. I know Zach and JJ, especially tonight, raced me really clean, really hard. It was a total blast. I mean, all these guys were. It was really fun to race tonight. Uh, Huge shout out to my parents and grandparents for supporting me in all my forms of racing. And last but certainly not least, huge shout out to all the fans that come out and support the broadcast, the drivers, all of us. It's without your guys' support, we wouldn't be here. And really, really looking forward to Bristol next week.
Yeah, I think everyone is as well. And Andrew, I have to say thank you from myself for stepping on board with the Tuesday night late model stock series. You are race controlling that, and that's not an easy job by no means. So I'm glad you could go out here, have some good races, have some fun, but also help out and be a big part of what we make ourselves into today.
Yeah, no problem. I actually enjoy race controlling when I can, and so far the late model stocks have been putting on some good shows. So we'll continue to hopefully see good shows like that for the rest of the season.
I think we will as well. So, Andrew, you, my man, have yourself a great rest of the night and go celebrate a second podium in a row to kick off the season.
Thank you, Brett.
Alrighty, folks, that was our runner-up finisher, the 93 machine of Andrew Payne. Now we'll try and head on over to our race winner, that being the 44 machine of Zach Nichols. Zach, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yep.
Alrighty, my man. How are we feeling? Especially almost giving that race away with a 3-4 shift.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much struggled all night just getting from third to fourth for some reason. I don't really understand how to shift this car, so we're gonna have to go to the notebook and figure that out for sure. So yeah, it was definitely scary once that started. It just put it in neutral, and then I saw Andrew just come flying to our outside. So definitely scary, but glad we were able to hunker down and pull it off still.
Yeah, and I mean, he almost, if he didn't, get in your back bumper with that. He had to shoot to your outside there because you're losing so much momentum. Luckily, you're able to keep that car pinned down on the bottom. It seemed like that was the place to be if you wanted to hold off someone.
Oh yeah, for sure. The with how loose the car got there towards the end, the top was I didn't think it was very viable after the halfway through the race. But yeah, the thing got real loose towards the end, and it was kind of a ton of fun to drive to me. So today was a fun race, and looking forward to my next one.
Yeah, I know you're only part-time on the season coming out here cherry picking some racing, but here tonight, once again, the 44 machine visits victory lane. But of course, a flurry of yellows at the end there. We mentioned about, the shift and how difficult it is. What else is going through your mind with all those cautions in a row? I mean, you had to be thinking, how can I mix this up to make sure I get as much as advantage as I can?
Yeah, I mean, the first half of the race was really good. It was just me and Andrew were just taking our time going through the field, and then like towards the halfway point, we really started feeling the right rear give out. So that it started getting really interesting, and then yeah, like you said, the it got towards the end with just a whole bunch of cautions, and yeah, the I missed the shift on I would say like a good 70% of those restarts, but I figured out that third gear was by far superior, so it helped me out a lot in those final restarts.
Yeah, at least one less shift you have to do because it does take some time, even though these cars, you can auto blip, do all that. That's a little bit slower if you don't use the clutch. Hopefully, I'm assuming you use the clutch out here to try and get the optimal shifts. But yeah, these things definitely can be tricky to get through the gears. It's not an easy one like a sequential gearbox as we see in the Cup cars today.
Yeah, for sure. With not having an H pattern, just using paddles and trying to shift this thing at the right time, it's definitely challenging going from last night, which like I feel like you never miss a shift in the late model stocks, and then this one I feel like I just miss a shift so many times. But yeah, it was a ton of fun tonight, and looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, we are as well. And just a quick mention, how'd you keep these tires under you? Because we saw how loose this car was getting. I assume the cautions probably helped with, not wearing the tires as much. But if that thing went green, what was the game plan? How are you going to keep that right rear under you and keep that pace? Because, I mean, you and Andrew, besides those few cautions to kind of start the caution fest, I mean, you guys were checking on out with some great pace.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like I was just kind of going like 50 to 75% the first like 40, 50 laps, but yeah, I mean, just I was not really using much brake. I was kind of just rolling into the turns because I felt like if I used brakes, the rear would just want to kind of kick out. So we just kind of rolled her in there, each in and off, and just try to keep the rear from sliding out there. And it seemed like it worked.
Yeah, that it did here tonight. Of course, last night not having the finish you want. So, same track, different cars. You love these street stocks. It seems you have a ton of success in these. So, how does that kind of affect your kind of overall week with not the finish you wanted last night or probably deserved? Come out here and put on a great show and end up in victory lane once again.
Yeah, I mean, definitely didn't want what happened yesterday to happen. We got into a little late race kerfuffle and ended up just dropping out. So, it was actually I didn't drop out. I finished I think 10th or 11th, but yeah, that was unfortunate. So I'm glad we were able to come out here and get a win. But yeah, it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, that it seemed to be. Of course, me, I always love my stats, looking at all the good numbers and whatnot. And Zach here tonight with I think career win number 21. That sent you just one win behind Ron Hart for the third most ever, and then two wins behind Andrew Payne for second. So you, my man, if you continue to pick and choose the right races, you might be right there. How does that feel? Especially now with only about 50, just over 50 starts here in ASRC.
It feels definitely good to have that, and it's definitely good to be I don't even know what the word is around that those types of drivers in the win column. So it's definitely a good feeling.
Yeah, that it is. And, just the eye popping, especially any driver over 10 starts, you lead the way besides the few drivers when we race some dirt. I mean, right now you sit at about a 40% win average when you load into a session. That is your odds of ending up in victory lane. I mean, that's just mind boggling in and of itself.
I guess. I mean, you really like your stats, but yeah. I mean, I didn't know that, but yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that it is. Definitely very, very impressive. And just to goes to show the kind of the skill level we have at ASRC, as well as how much you bring up the skill level as well here loading into these sessions. I mean, it's a great time to have you out on track as a competitor, but I think every time you load in, we see some great names in here, you being one of them. The competition just awesome to see.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got Andrew, Ron. A lot of these guys are just they race so clean, so it's a ton of fun to come out each week and put on the show.
Yeah, and I think over in the real life stuff, getting into the middle of May, real life racing started. How did let's say week number 1 go, and what are the expectations there in the real world racing stuff?
We I think we qualified third in the first race, got third in the heat race, and then second in the feature. So not a bad day, but we got a Wasso here this upcoming weekend, and looking forward to seeing Ron there in his modified, and yeah, hopefully we can have a good result there like we did tonight.
Yeah, and I think at the moment I'm pretty tentatively planning on showing on up to either help on out where I
Oh,
can or just hang out with the boys. It's definitely going to be a big old party.
yeah, for sure. If you come, dude, gotta say hi.
Oh, 100%. We definitely will. So, Zach, as well as with the real life racing, where can we stay up to date? Because, new season might have some new watchers. Where can we keep up to date with you?
Pretty much just Nichols Racing on Facebook. That's pretty much where I put all my social media stuff. So yeah, if you want to know where when we're racing or what we're doing, yeah, just go there and you can find it.
And you can't forget the old YouTube, a little bit of race recaps as well. I saw race number 1 had a new segment in there, a little bit of food review. Is that going to continue?
I mean, it depends if Jaden's coming to the racetrack. I'm pretty sure he is, so maybe he'll be in the video if he ends up getting something from the concessions. But yeah, I mean, I'm down to keep doing it if he keeps showing up.
That would be awesome. I tell you what, I enjoyed it. I was pretty impressed. He rated the old track food that high. That's high
You
on up
know,
there on a scale. I don't know if he has a track food scale or if not, man, that must have been some killer mozzarella sticks in a burger.
I mean, the mozzarella sticks did look pretty good, but who knows? I don't think I should agree with those scores for a track.
Yeah, I agree. I thought they were very high, so it makes me want to try them out even more. But Yeah, Zach, great job here tonight. We look forward to, seeing you out on track here in the future, as well as, of course, in the real life stuff. So before we let you go, celebrate win number, I believe, 21 of your career. I'm getting to the end of things. I'm starting to mess up. It's time to wrap things up. So, Zach, we'll hand over the mic, let you do some talking, and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or maybe some people watching at home.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Professional Sterilizer Services and Consulting. They came on board for this year, so can't thank them enough. RSS Mobile Trailer Repair, they also came on board this year for the dwarf cars, so also can't thank them enough. Those two have helped us out a lot this year, and also Carney's Complete Auto Service, can't forget about them. They help us a ton out too, and yeah, Hoax Graphics, Jaden, he's helped us with the graphics, and yeah. Looking forward to getting this season on.
Yeah, and of course, we had Ken and Steven both in the YouTube chat land. Can't forget about those always supporting fans.
True. See, you're helping me out. Gotta shout both them out, or I'm gonna get yelled at. So I appreciate you telling me that.
No problem, Zach. We're here to do the hard work here. You drive the race car, I'll get the talking.
Thank you.
All righty, Zach. Well, you, my man, have yourself a great rest of the night, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here and hopefully seeing you out on the track.
Yep, you have a good night too there, bud.
All righty, folks. That was our race winner in the 44 machine. That is Zach Nichols getting the job done for the 21st time in his career. Wow. Awesome stuff here, folks. First and foremost, I got to thank all the live viewers tuning on in here. Of course, Ken and Steven in the YouTube chat land. Have to thank all the replay viewers coming in here later. Always love to see all the numbers, both live and the post-race. Really do appreciate it here. And the entertainment that you guys give. First and foremost, got to thank everyone behind the scenes here at ASRC. That makes us work. We have Tanner Tallarico up there in the spotter stand watching these races, as well as all the other admins, as well as the series sponsors. We got Postma Flooring, LaPlante Racing Products, Boardwalk Subs, all coming out and supporting, as well as all the drivers that take the time out of their day, come out on track, have some fun first and foremost, as well as put on a great racing show that we can watch. We had a 30-car field here tonight, filled up the server. That is awesome to see, especially during the summer series where a lot of these drivers have real-life race cars to work on. So yeah, that will mostly do it here. Let's run on through tonight's race results and get on out of here from Five Flag Speedway. So Zach Nichols in the 44 machine picking up career win number 21. Andrew Payne in the 93 will finish P number 2. And JJ McRae in the 78 makes his first podium appearance. Awesome runs by them. Tim Rogers here did not get dumped here tonight or used on up. He finishes in the top 5. He will finish P number 4 in the 48. And James Pileski drove through the field here with some incredible speed. Had no bumper cover to the ending of this race. He will finish in the top 5 in P number 35. Greggy Long here in the 17 will finish 6th. Ty Delphia in the 013 will finish 7th. Last week's winner, Stephen Rochford, able to battle back into the top 10. The 66 will finish 8th. Then in P number 9, our biggest mover of the race, Dave Payton in the 38, was up 18 positions from where he started. He was able to end up in the top 10. He will finish 9th. And how about this, guys, folks? I should say, how about this guy, folks? As Chuck Darling in the 88 will squeak out a top 10 with a beaten and battered race car. Chuck Darling finishes 10th. 11th going to Scott Rochford in the 077. Mark Fuquay in the 6th will finish 12th. Zach Hoyer will finish 13th. 14th going to Caleb Ramsey. And rounding out the top 15 is Hayden Swank. Pete Dillon will finish 16th. 17th going to JT Batson. 18th is Scott Negus. Jeff Dillon will finish 19th. And Braden Cook will round out the top 21st car at least one lap down. Devin McDonald will finish 21st. 22nd going to Jaden Kratachi. Matthew Moduleski will finish 23rd. Nicholas DeBoer will finish 24th with a vicious impact. Riley Duncan, tonight's quick time, here at Five Flags does not get the finish that he needed. He will finish 25th, going to Brian Hacker, Scott Austin 27th, and then Regan Ford, who led the field to the green flag, will finish in 28th. Lee Hamby and Travis Wright did not make the green flag or any laps, so they will not count to the finish here tonight. So that will do it here tonight from the American Sim Racing Club Street Stock Series for race number 2 at Five Flags. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network. Turn 3 Racing Network is partnered with Premier Setup Shops. You can check them out with the link in the description. They support us. It would be awesome if you guys could do the same. Just at least click in the link. We'll show them that we sent you at least over there. Even if you don't buy anything, a click will go a long way. So that would be very much appreciated from myself. And yep, folks, that will do it. Race number 2 in the books. Week number 2 of ASRC in the books. US or Five Flags down. Now we're off to Bristol Motor Speedway for both the late model stocks and the street stocks next week. Of course, late model stocks on Tuesday night, street stocks here on Wednesday. So everyone here, hopefully you have a great rest of your day, great rest of your night, as well as a great rest of your week. Stay safe. Look at the positives. There's always something good going on here, folks. So that would do it for myself in the booth. I've been Brett the Jet, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.